to, you know, risk potentially on what a court may see of something that you've signed?
Well, you know, documents, there's never really a perfect way to do documents. I'm sure that when this was done, the attorney used some standard release language that has been around for a long time. And I'm just telling you that regardless of cause does not mean gross negligence or intentional
Well, I mean,
conduct.
regardless of cause is regardless of cause. No matter what the cause is, we're not going to take that suing action or take that action against
This
them.
is going on a little bit too long too. If you want to discuss this with Mr. Lewis afterwards or give him a call, then that's fine.
I mean, can I show you the original agreement that we
Can I
signed
stop
the other
this
day?
discussion now, Mr. Hudson?
I was just trying to give him the full information so he had the full awareness so that he could look it
That's
over
it.
and give
We're
it a
done.
proper answer.
Does anybody else have questions, comments, Mr. Pace?
I do. The board ratified this last year, correct? This issue that you're bringing up that you now don't want anybody to talk about. So I guess I'm going to ask one question. How do you intend on implementing this particular issue for all the people that are not going to sign it? You say that you're going to be able to implement it or make people sign it. How do you intend on accomplishing that?
Making people sign it? Nobody has to sign it. They just don't, that's what they do to be able to use the facilities.
And that's undue influence.
What are you going to do about the people that are currently using the facilities that haven't signed it?
Well, we're trying to get in touch with all of them.
And that was my question. How do you intend on enforcing that particular issue?
We're doing our best to get in touch with them. Call them and say they need to come in and.
No, I think that was I think you misunderstood. My comment was meant.
Please be quiet. Let me address this by asking a question to Lisa. I seem to recall that someone said that the current software that we're using at the rec centers has the ability to have a field that says person, member has signed or has not signed the usage agreement.
Yes,
Is that a
that's
true
correct.
statement?
Yes, true
So
statement.
that is a mechanism for possibly identifying people who are going into the rec center. The staff can look at that particular flag
That's right.
and say, oh, this person has or this person has not signed the
That's
usage
right.
agreement.
The other part of that too is how the fob can be turned off if they haven't signed it.
Right.
Okay, and that's great. I'm glad you brought up the key fob matter because I did on my website, and I want to address that matter. We have, I don't know, a couple hundred people that have a key fob. Have all of those people signed the agreement that you're aware of? Because once you cut that key fob off, they're going to have to go to the rec center and sign an agreement, correct?
Yes.
That's right.
Okay, well, I know 7 people that haven't, and their key fob, and they come right up through this door and they use the facility. I've talked to them.
Let me ask you a question. Would you be willing to give the district the name of those people who are engaging in that activity right now?
Yeah, I'll do it off record, sure, because I know that they come here on a regular basis. They're daily users, and you know them as well as I do.
I don't know them.
I don't know.
I don't know them.
They've actually, yeah. So I just want to repeat. You shut the fob off, and then they have to come over in here. What about the people that are in this building? Are they doing enforcement by knowing that the fobs don't work and checking to make sure that the people here, because you have a computer over there that would show that they don't have the agreement signed, is that correct?
During open hours.
I'm sorry, I didn't catch that.
During open hours.
Right, so if they do show up here during open hours between 8 and
Well, no.
Why?
8, well, the entire day is 8 to what?
It's 8 to 1, 8 to
11 to 7 now, the hours there?
11 to 7.
Till the weekend.
Until-
That goes to 4 days.
Yeah.
Okay, so the premise is the staff duty person here would see them coming in, their fob doesn't work, they come upstairs, and they would then send them over to the other rec center? Is that correct?
Or they make them sign it here.
Or they make them sign it here, or either one?
Yeah.
Okay. Good, thank you.
All right, anything else?
I would like to make 2 additional statements here. This is a usage agreement from the YMCA. This is essentially a Meridian Ranch usage agreement. I'm going to read part of it, okay? It says, adult member waives and releases and agrees to indemnify, defend, and hold harmless the released parties, i.e. Meridian Ranch, from and against any and all claims, demands, and lawsuits that any such child member, it's addressing child members, and/or the primary adult member, including his or her spouse, heirs, assigns, and next of kin may have against the released parties for personal injury, death, or property damage arising from the negligence of the released parties. The primary adult member hereby represents to YMCA that he or she has the full legal authority to waive and release any and all claims, demands, and lawsuits of all child members and act for on behalf of all the child members. This one is from Bill of Sports. Okay, Bill of Sports, waiver of claims, assumptions, and risks and limitations of liability and damages. The first sentence here says, each member and guest must have a valid waiver on file to use the club's facilities. The adult member acknowledges that using the club's facilities involves a risk of injury, whether caused by Bill of Sport, a member, or someone else. Specific risks vary from one activity to another, and the risks range from minor injuries such as cuts or bruises to major injuries such as concussions or broken bones to catastrophic injuries such as permanent disability or death. It further goes on.
Is there a part in there that you can't use the facility if you don't sign the
That
agreement?
was the first sentence I
I
read.
have
Each
plenty of-
member must have a valid waiver on file to use the club's
I
facilities.
have one here from Bill of Sport that says the exact same thing.
That's what-
That's what I'm
Yeah,
reading.
reading.
Yeah.
that's
You were reading the Y when you said.
No,
Yeah.
The first one.
I switched from the Y.
My
to Bill of
concern is,
Sports.
though, I do have a valid waiver that has an end date specified on it, and you're trying to change that agreement partway through the agreement.
Because we have a new usage agreement that supersedes that one.
The usage
We have
agreement.
the authority to
But you
change.
can't just change an agreement
Yeah, we
midway
can.
through.
Yeah, we can, yeah. Yeah, we can.
There's a new
And the government does not.
So anyone, so what you're saying right now is that anyone that's got a contract with somebody else can change that in the middle of the contract,
Yes.
and it doesn't make a
Yeah,
difference.
we're not going there.
No,
We're done.
Well, that's what you just said to me about the agreement that we have with you.
Robert, we're done.
Just a quick question, when's the big flagpole gonna be fixed?
One's a big one.
The halyards broke on it.
They're coming out, I don't know the exact date, but we've talked to the Affordable Flag people, and they just gotta come out and fix the wire broke on it, so. I don't have an exact date on it, the cable broke on it, I don't have an exact date.
But we've contacted them, they're set up.
Yeah, we contacted them, they're just coming out here.
An update on the renovation for the east, or has it been put on hold?
Yeah, the next newsletter will be coming out next week. There's a huge article on it, and it will give you all the updates on the rec center and the progress of our plans. Thank you. Mr. Pace?
Yeah, I guess, second to last one, you guys said you were gonna put some information up on the website. I brought the core with me on it, only part of it was put up there, and I'm wondering where the leasing agreement, purchasing agreement was there, Mr. Lewis? It was signed, I have the letter that says it was dispersed, I have the letter that says it was initiated and given to the board at closing. I spoke with D.A. Davidson about it, and they said that all copies of all forms signed by the board were given, and the board was given copies of those, so I was just wondering when you anticipate putting those puppies up there.
As far as I know, they're all there.
The bonding is, and I know that there's a financial statement, and I took a screenshot of it yesterday and it wasn't there, so if they put it up today, that's great.
They're
They're up there. Everything's up there.
The leasing purchase agreement is up there. Okay, I'll go check that because it wasn't there yesterday.
Do you have another?
I just want to have a request for a written reason why we're not allowed to use the rec centers as we're legally entitled to.
It's already in board policy. There's
It's
no
in
need-
board
there's no-
policy.
no-
We're entitled to an individual reason why we're banned from being used to something we have an agreement to.
Because you don't play by the
I think everybody's
rules.
tired.
Everyone else plays by the rules, you can too.
It's not playing by the rules. It's a case of, I have an agreement with you already, you don't have the right to change it to something else.
No,
Okay.
I'm good. Actually, I do.
Adjourn.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I apologize, my bad. I received, I know that you say that we need to speak to Mr. Lewis here, and I want to just get it up there, is that Mr. Lewis has been contacted by me on a few occasions, not a lot. He's asked me to talk to him. I have all my emails, communications, you know I keep every record I ever made. in my life, and originally it was a courteous and professional situation. It's not, and it's turned out to be not the case. And so I brought issues up to him so I wouldn't have to bring him to these meetings. So if you're asking him not to speak to me, I'd like to find that out now, but I think the discourse of our discussions can be fixed pretty quick, because I already know what I'm planning on doing here in the next few months, regardless. But Mr. Lewis and I used to have simpatico and things were fine. So, you know, I want to be able to resume that matter without him charging us. But if he's going to charge us, I'm going to quit doing that, because I don't want you guys to have to pay for it.
I bill for it, so that's why.
If you'd like him to bill you for it, be our guest.
Okay. Well, I've asked for some answers that he said he would provide. That's great. I'm glad. That's a lovely little interjection you had. But Mr. Lewis didn't respond at all. So if you want to respond, Mr. Lewis, please do tonight or tomorrow, whenever you can.
All right,
I'd like to get it in writing.
do I hear a motion for
Motion
adjournment?
to adjourn.
We're adjourned.
I'll give you all.